Oh, hello there, man. Snuck up. Shit, we're live. Wow. Welcome. That's how I get excited. We're actually going to chill out. What this is actually what I like to do sometimes when I'm sending special stuff off, or, maybe I've made some special things, and then I go out the door. They're going to get mailed, and they might never pop up again. I might never be able to share them again. Because we got a lag factor with the audio. No, that is not my video. So what most of these are projects that are going out the door. Said that, done that, been there. Why are these honorable mentions? Let's start with these ceramic sharpening stones. Spyderco, very fine, medium. Manufacture date, late 70s, early 80s, I would guess. Probably pretty close. People say, oh, it's a ceramic stone, and there's not enough data points in that one word to describe what these stones are, which are actually pretty effing amazing. They're ceramic matrix. What they are synthetic rubies, but it's the way they impregnate that ceramic matrix with the rubies. They're actually sintered for 3 days, up to 3,000 degrees. So my imagination tends to think of just dripping melted rubies into this matrix. And these things, when you feel them and touch them, they're just different. And they're great value to the man who bought them. And I got them for about the same price. I needed the money this week, so we said, yep, full send. Enjoy. Another little special one here. This one is a really old world. I call it old world. I don't know what some of you would call it. Belgian codical, natural combo. And I'll never lap it. I did just briefly lap it a little bit and get to my good side so I can see. There's a little touch of a spot there and a little shoulder here, but I just could not bring myself to lap this all the way flat. It has some of the beautiful lines where the Belgian blue prolith, mixed lith is like shooting through. It's just perfect as it is, and I've used it, and I love the saddleback. It's nice. And I didn't lap the scratches out. The back is flat, so that's that. This gentleman is also getting this nice, clean, lap-decked flat Thuringian. It's a righteous Thuringian. Now, this box is a work in progress. I never finished it. And when I cut it, I actually cut the shoulders a little too wide, so I was going to inlay some wood to finish it. This is also not glued. So, mister, if you want this glued up before it ships out, it's super easy for you to do. Or if you can take it as is and finish it as you want, just get in there. I do this much quicker in person. But it's just a base, and you can finish it any way you want. I glue it up to your preference. The choice is yours. Oh, buddy, we're getting to the big kahunas real soon. The coin box. It's the coin box. We got some friends. Friend of ours, friend of mine, friend of me. We like mascots. This one, a gentleman who thinks he's got the biggest balls down south, came in and said, I'll take that. So it's a coin box, and I was going to get the password for it before I started this video. Let's see if I can remember it on the fly. This one's a different one, though. Memorized like half a dozen of these over the last few months. Nope. So we can't show off the inside yet, but Honduran mahogany. Cherry wood back. Tiger maple inlays, about 3/16 deep. Ebony back. This would be the French door pull and a pocket door, but I kind of repurpose them for coin slots. And of course, the coup d'etat is the post office box store, a medium-sized PO box store. It's got a date on the inside from 1960, and most of them that have this motif are from that era, so 60 years old. I just got around to putting some little rubber stoppers on this bottom, so you can't really damage it. It's mint as a dime. The finish was hand-applied oil, wax, and shellac. It's my precious, and it's going on to someone else who's also getting a nice Washita. And while we're going to the next phase, pause and see if anyone's commenting live. I probably doubt it. If I can find where I'm live. It's pretty easy to find myself live on my other device last time. It's kind of a tough time to be doing this because the auctions are popping off and can I have it? Hey, there I am. 2 are watching. Welcome, people. And if anyone wants to ask a question, it's like a 10-second lag, usually something like that. I'll probably see it. Put you right up on the big screen. So the thunder from down under is getting this lovely old Washita. These are all cataloged with specific gravities on the sides because that's what you need to know when you're evaluating where these fit into the spectrum of the old Arkansas and Washitas. And the nomenclature is dizzying, but you just got to let the stone tell you what it is. Speaking of quantifying data points, let's get into cataloging. Baton, there's one more thing. There's this ugly piece of white on the back, and that's fine. And I'm going to catalog this for my own record because I remember who I got it from. I might have the number for a specific gravity. Yeah, most 3 inch are 2.8. So that's what this is about. I'm trying to develop a system to catalog my personal collection. With Washitas, you'll see pencil marks on them all the time. So it's a good time to show off again some of the finer points that can help you check out what a Washita is. A lot of them will have this common look. Sandy colors. You're looking for golden colors. You'll see maroon to pure burgundies. And I will say you almost always associate the burgundies or the reds with, in my opinion, kind of softer, more inferior, like, the good stuff, I guess we'll call it. But there's a spectrum. Those soft stones, they had a range. They were more friable. They were faster. That has a lot to do with the rosy red label and why they're so collectible, because people use the stones they wore out. Generally, I find that a lot of the older stones that I find that are Arkansas Washita are the harder ones because they just were more durable. Or they were coring them up into the late century anyway, so the good ones. But here's an example of a classic. I call it lily white, number 1. It's a lily white variety up there, and it's always tough when the light's right on you. It has a little bit of sand, and you look very closely with your naked eye, you can see when they're clean, of course. The finest specks grains. They're the grains, pretty much. But it's also the half how dense they are. This one is 2.36. That is getting close to hard Arkansas territory. The translucents start around 2.4, in my opinion. And in between the translucents and the others, you get this. It's tough to discern from A, oil in the stones if they're not clean, and B, the oldest stones they use sperm oil in, I believe, as do a few other people. And what that will do is completely change the color on the surface, and it takes a while to get under that skin of oil. It's actually not even oil, truth be told, is what they say. And I believe them. So there are butterscotch Washitas without that oil or any kind of adulterant. So when you see that golden color, they're nice. And when they shine, just like a butterscotch, become translucent. Those are the beauties. They're the king among kings, is what we say. Now, I call this a lily white, and it's a lily white of a type, but in the hand, it doesn't have the heft or the density. But I spec'd 2.3, so it's in that middle ground. Now, I call this a number one Washita, and it's really this. It's lily white. But lily whites are one step above, in my opinion, the number one qualities. And this is all stuff that the quarries just, felt when they wrote them up, but I believed they used to measure the stones by the cubic foot, and if it weighed a certain amount, they called this. If it weighed less, they called that. And that's how they did it. This one is on the borderline of translucent. It's probably 2.4. I didn't measure it for density or specific gravity because I'm not using laboratory grade equipment here when I do this stuff. I'm doing this with a postal scale, and so I'm just doing it in grams, and it's not the most accurate. So for this little one, it came out at 2.6 for my calculations, but it's so small, it's not accurate. It's really not accurate. There is no translucence 2.6 that I've seen. I used to think there was, but there isn't. Gordon says, did someone say butter? Yeah, they're tasty. Oh, yeah, I got mine. But they are not within reach. I have a couple. They're not quite the purest of butterscotches, but they are tough to find. This one is of that butterscotch type hardness and density. It's actually translucent. It will catch and hold light. But it has that burgundy red, which I usually associate with the more modern soft arcs, which I find they're inferior. It's like the grain structure's not as, there's just something a little different about them. I've been working on pinning it down. So that's the dime store tour of Washita, Arkansas's. Next up are just honorable mentions with some special ones. So let's get the camera on this. Now, the whiter the stone, sometimes it's tougher to show just in the video. In fact, stones, more than anything I can think of, there's always elements that don't translate in a video or a picture unless you get really close and show a lot of pictures. It's not in Arkansas. It's not like anything anyone usually sees. They're incredibly rare. Hen's teeth rare as far as I'm concerned. I only know a handful of people that own one. And I think I only know one or two people that have shown me or shared with me having a labeled Saxonian oil stone, also called trout stones, also called Ordovician stones from the geological area they came from. These have a very fascinating history. They were quarried in a very small spot in the Black Forest in Germany, in Schwarze country, I believe. And if Schwarze sounds familiar, it's not a Tuma, right? So these things are, I've looked at these under scope. I've used them. They come in above Thuringians. They come in above hard arcs. When they get wet, they show a little more character. It's almost, you can see the water going in. The families that own the rights to quarry these stones, very interesting. It was in the Eschers. And one of the earlier, this was in the Escher lineage. And one of the generational owners of the Escher quarries used to go with his daughter every summer to camp and hike and quarry these stones himself. So there's the possibility this stone was touched by one of the real Eschers himself. Woo, What are they, though? Oh, yeah. Not exactly clear. I believe there's something akin to chalcedony. But when you touch this, it has a little stick, like an eraser. And it's even cleaning my hand, I bet it's taking dirt off my skin like an emollient. And they're just glide. Their body. These stones are really interesting. And they fooled me for a long time, and I kept around because, this is like no Arkansas. It's milk white. So it took me a long time to identify them. And, one is for sale and one is my keeper. So if you're interested or curious, there's a price. There's a price. Now, this one I'm just going to go over quickly because it's going to get its own special Stone of the Week post. I think I'm going to do a new series in my Natural Stone Honing Junkies, NSHJ. Natural Stone Honing Junkies Facebook group where you can bullshit about anything you want to about sharpening stones. But this one I got from Justin Bieber a while ago. And man, does it have just some of the most wild swirls. And what this is a silt bordered into sandstone. What's the difference? You just think of like you tossed a bunch of dirt in a bucket of a tub of water. All the sand and the heavy particulate in the grains are going to sink, and the lighter stuff is going to float and gently settle. So silt stones are deposited after and on top of all the heavier stuff. That's what Hindu stone stands are. That's what this one is. And you can see it's got this darker layer of silt on top, but the stone's about the same, use all the way through. I only use the bottom because the top is too beautiful. It's a work of art. And the second you start lapping into it, you might change the feature, the aesthetic quality of the face. But it is just a wild stone when you get up close and personal with it. And where it came from, no idea. Closing thoughts. We're here. This is the last one. One yellow's going to go out. Oh no, we got some other subjects. We got some other. If you stuck around this long, no test today. You just get a gold star. Move directly to head of class. All for you. Wow, that's some attention for my last one. Although to be fair, my last video when I went live, it's hidden because it's copyright claim, but not striked or checked because I asked Alexa to play something that wouldn't infringe on YouTube at the beginning. It's a hoot. Green slate. This stuff is from my backyard. I got a guy that knows a guy that got a guy, but it's local. And this stuff just hits a sweet spot for me. I think a lot of you are going to enjoy this when you get your hands on it. It functions between a 7 to 8K range stone. This is perfect for tool users. Some stones are appropriate for straight razors more. And there's a lot of crossover, honestly. But I can cut these stones to any size you want or need. I have plenty of overstock, and as New Year's getting rung in, I'm going to be making more stuff. I'm shifting gears from just selling and hawking tools like a dog to making whatever, I feel like. So got stuff like you can't see. Little project I was working on for Wounded Waters last year, and I didn't get to it, but just a carbine. I might sell that in the next Anything Goes. And here's the Can I Have It plug. Y'all don't know, we have a Can I Have It group on Facebook. I'm a part admin and team member, founding member. We make shit, sell shit, and fuck shit up, and we love it. We love tools, we love makers. That's about it. So I got carbines, making some little piggy cutting boards. Man, I had something else, but I think that's it. So see you later, nerds. Stop. Yeah, it took a while to sign out last time.